Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to episode 16 of At the Movies with Lo and Mo with our first ever guest, James Paul Shepard from Filmcore Digital. Give him a hand. We're so excited to talk about the Big Lebowski this week for At the Movies and hear James's take on it. Aaron, as always, this was your pick, so what's your thoughts on it? What's your history with it, my friend?
I love this movie. I thought for a long time that it was my favorite Coen Brothers movie. My opinion might change today, I think. But not like I didn't enjoy my watch. Just I think I have some new been a little bit since I watched it, and I think I kind of have some new thoughts on it. But I in terms of like history with this movie, I think this was probably my first introduction to the Coen Brothers, which I think is probably a lot of people's first introduction to the Coen Brothers. It
Yeah,
seems
I'd
like
agree.
the movie, like if you don't know who they are, this is the movie you're most likely to recognize, I think. Um, and I remember my older cousin when I was growing up one year had a Big Lebowski themed birthday party at a bowling alley. But we were like 12. So it wasn't like there was White Russians or anything. It was just
It
bowling.
was just
I
milk.
don't
It was just a bunch of milk, right? That's all you
I
had.
don't even think I don't even think there was costumes. I think Jesus or Jesus, who however his name is pronounced in the film, appeared on the birthday card, and that was about the extent of the theme.
Nice.
Um, but I'm more curious because this is so exciting. We have our first guest
We have our
on
first guest, yeah.
for the show. And so, James, I'd love to hear your thoughts. We were chatting a little bit before this, and you said this has been a really long time since you've seen this. So, give us your history on Big Lebowski and the Coen Brothers.
Well,
And
first, I appreciate you guys having me on. I've watched every episode that you guys done so far.
I love
Awesome
it.
channel you guys have here. I
Thank you.
Thank
just
you.
got done watching your other skit the other day.
Nice.
Um,
Appreciate that, man.
love it. Love everything you guys are doing. Hoping to collaborate with you guys a lot more. I wish I had a
Definitely.
team like you guys. But with Big Lebowski, I mean, it's such a classic. Like, so I haven't seen it in a long time. Like, I think I was like 15 years old when this movie came out. So I mean,
Wow.
it's I've seen it maybe 4 times since then, like here and there. When it's on, it's a movie that you can sit and watch.
Yeah.
But like I remember one of my auditions in college for an actual short film that I was auditioning for. I had to do some scenes from it as the audition. Like they picked the scenes for
Nice.
that. So it was definitely awesome. I love the Coen brothers. They do such great movies. This one I love. It's because it's so back in the day when you could actually get away with the stuff that they do in this film, and that's what I love about it. Like, so I like watch clips here and there, and it's like, man, if you did this today, whoo, touchy for sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of it touches on some things, but I mean back in the 90s when this came out, it wasn't as taboo as it is now, but looking back on it, some of those lines and some of the things definitely didn't age well as far as
Oh yeah,
I think some of it too though, like it works because of it, like it is a movie that is so rooted in its time. Like it is like not only is it's not just a movie that came out in the 90s, but it is a movie that really feels like the characters are stuck in this time period. And like Walter's character being this veteran, and there's a lot of him being like a veteran, and then the dude having like not a care in the world kind of puts their characters at ease in terms of like of they don't really care about that kind of thing.
yeah.
It just kind of it's in one ear out the other, it just kind of floats around. I did think it was very funny that Walter was the person to correct the dude when he uses the Chinaman word.
yep,
He is the person that says the preferred term is Asian American.
yep.
Uh
I
and then later on, he's got some harsh words for the Middle East, so it's just funny to see those characters kind of go back and forth.
I think that every town, at least every small town, has a Walter. And I think if you remember, like, I know Aaron and I growing up in like smaller towns, there's definitely a Walter that you remember, whether it was like kind of like your dad's friend or your dad's friend of a friend or somebody that
Yeah,
hung out at like the local like VFW club or something like that. There's definitely a Walter in everyone's town for sure,
Oh yeah,
which I think
yeah.
a lot of it is what sticks and resonates. At least for me, I really,
he's
really
like
like
the
John Goodman in this role.
he's like the pro fireworks uncle that
Yeah.
shows up at like the family, like the one that's like, no, we got like we went to Ohio, we got the big stuff, like it's fine, you won't miss any fingers, you'll be good.
He's the one where
Um,
like everybody thinks that he's getting you like a BB gun for Christmas, but he gets you like an actual 22.
yeah, I thought this movie. So I guess what was most interesting about this is as rooted as it is in its time period, and you see that moment on television that later shows up when he's, this aggression will not stand, man, and it's got kind of this feeling that it's rooted in the politics of the time. I don't actually think it's a necessarily like a super political movie or anything like that. And what I read when I was doing some research was that the Coen brothers wanted to have this overly complex plot that ultimately, if you take a 50,000-foot step back, doesn't matter. And that's definitely what it is. It's almost like a rat. The whole movie is kind of a rat race, like running around to these different characters, different set pieces, and at the end of the day, nothing really gets accomplished or really happens. I mean, um, it's actually kind of a question that I have for you guys is I think if there's like meaning to this movie, to me, the meaning that I pulled from it was so there's these nihilists that they keep making comments about these nihilists and these guys are after him. But I think the dude's philosophy is equally, I think it's ironic because his philosophy is also kind of nothing matters. It's just not as negative, or it's not like defined as nihilism. Um, and so he finally, this is like you see him start to care about something because suddenly this woman's life is in his hands. Her life is in your hands, dude. And like you see him start to panic, and Walter is like, chill out, it's fine, like it doesn't matter. And it's kind of him realizing, like, oh shit, maybe I should care about some things in life. But what's interesting is at the end of the movie, after Donnie, R.I.P. Donnie passes away, they just go back to bowling. It doesn't really resolve anywhere. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it just kind of ends with them just going back to the thing that they love to do, which is weird and interesting, I guess. An interesting way to end the movie, in my opinion.
James, what's your take on that before
I mean, they
you
do. That's one thing with the Coen brothers, man. They have an interesting way to end all their movies. But I mean, I agree 100% with you. But that just reminded, that was the scene where Donnie, the little funeral, the ashes and stuff. That was the scene I had to audition with
I
in
was gonna
college.
ask.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think
Yeah,
that
go ahead, Jimmy.
no, I just think though that like we're so used to when you're watching a film that you want it to end in kind of like this like feel good moment or something happens or you learned a story, but it ended exactly like how it would end if like it was real life. Like if your friend or your bowling partner died that didn't have like a lot of family or friends, you'd do a quick service, you would do your thing, and you would go right back to doing what you love. And that's
Right,
then
for
it's
sure.
like it's weird though that it's such a real life thing to have happen, but it doesn't sit well as an ending for some people as far as a movie because we're so used to getting the like gratification at the
Yeah,
end of it, and we just
yeah.
don't. We're just
Yeah.
like, hey, you're back to bowling. Which is interesting.
I really like the Sam Elliott character in this. This is what I was thinking about was so we watched Blood Simple and we watched Raising Arizona, and now this. Each movie has a narrator. Each movie opens with narration, which is cool. Um, and I like that character kind of being like you don't even know if he's a real person. He just kind of showed up. It's like the movie starts with this like you're in LA, but it's a Western kind of thing, and he's this random cowboy that's at the bar. Um,
Does
I really enjoyed that.
does No Country for Old Men have one too?
I don't remember offhand.
James, do you remember? I know it's coming up next.
Uh,
That's the next one I think we're watching, but I don't remember if that one has. I want to
I'm
say.
gonna be
Next
completely
one's Oh
honest with
Brother
you.
Where Art Thou.
I have
Oh.
never seen No Country for Old Men.
Oh wow, might have
Not
to.
all the way through. I've
Wow.
never seen it all the way through. It's one I definitely need to watch.
We might have to have you on again and have you watch it and have
Yeah.
you on again with us.
Because I don't know, there was something like at the time that came out that I don't know what I was doing, but I never got around to ever watching that movie.
I know this is the Big Lebowski podcast, but I think a lot of my reason to want to be a filmmaker and everything was because I watched No Country for Old Men in like a formative time in my life. I think I was a teenager when that came out. And I think that was like right when I was trying to decide what to do. And the way that was filmed, I was like, I want to do this. I want to do what they're doing. I want to do this.
That's one thing about the Coen Brothers. They just the way they film, dude. That's one thing I love. Like when I watch movies and stuff, I watch the cinematography, the angles and stuff like that, and they just have a great way of doing it. The L cuts, the J cut, like they're just they do them so well.
Yeah.
Some of the sequences I noticed, and this ties into one of my favorite things about the movie is its music and the soundtrack that they pick. It's like it's perfect. The way they use "The Man in Me" by Bob Dylan is perfect, and that I love that opening sequence, the slow motion bowling alley stuff. And you've got the three guys like choreographed, all like doing their throws like one after another. Um, but there was some, so I noticed that, and then a big thing that I noticed definitely was in the dream sequence. They had this shot where you were the you it's a dream sequence, so Jeff Bridges' character is shrunken down, and they have this shot of a bowling ball like rolling and rolling down the lane. So I read about how they did it, and they had a camera on a spindle, I guess, or whatever you would call it, a bar that they were trying to just as fluidly as possible roll down the lane. And just thinking about stuff like that, and thinking about like Lo and I haven't had the chance really, but we are talking about filming our first short film this summer. So like these sketches, it's one thing, you're kind of just you have a mission to accomplish, and that's to film the sketch. But with the short film, thinking about more complex shots and how
Oh
we
yeah.
can capture those is huge right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about the like figuring out the cool angles and back in 98 it's like dang, those things that they did then, I mean, we're still doing now, we're just doing a little better, but the
Yeah.
like we have the tools at our like right here at our disposal. We could just grab them and make those shots. They had to actually go and sit and think, how can we make this happen? We don't have a tool for it. And the way they do that, man, it's awesome. I mean, going back to movies way before that were doing VFX. But fun fact with that, technically that scene, the dream scene, is the only scene that you ever see the dude bowl.
Wow, I didn't
He
even think
never
about
Oh,
that.
he
That's
never
amazing.
bowls in the movie. Like he's always sitting there, never bowls once.
that's
That's
interesting. I didn't
so
know that. That was good.
Yeah, that's interesting. I It's funny too that you say that. My power went out while I was watching the movie real quick for like 2 minutes. And I think the Blu-ray I bought is like one of the first Blu-rays ever, because it is like like the things you can do with it are like there are zero features. Like there's no way to put subtitles on or anything. It's bizarre. But so I was skipping chapters, and like every other chapter was set back at the bowling alley, and it felt like it was almost this reset where it's like you have this scene where the dude is trying to go get his car, or he's meeting with the Big Lebowski and he finds out about Bunny, whatever. And it's always kind of resets itself back at the bowling alley. That's like the center of the movie, and the center of his whole Zen thing.
I have a question for James. How do you feel about people in 2021 still quoting this movie over and over again? Like,
Dude, that I love it. I think it's to have a movie that's so iconic, to be able
yeah,
to have people, because like there are kids that don't know who Marty McFly is. Like there's but the dude, people know, because
yeah,
like this the Avengers, they based Fat Thor off, like as soon as you saw him in that outfit, they based that outfit
yep,
on the dude, and like everybody's like the dude, like they
yep.
know. And it is just amazing to see stuff like that. I mean, just to see these kids, because they're so out of touch in film and stuff nowadays. Like it's the younger generation just doesn't get the films that we had growing up. They get the cool special effects, all that stuff, which is awesome because the technology now. But we got the actual cinematography, the actual stories, the good movies.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like almost as cool as it is and like as awesome as technology has come, it's almost seems like it has made people want story less in film, though, is kind of what
Um,
hurts. Even
yep.
though like it's cool to see and we've made so many advances and I love seeing these special effects and everything that's going on, I just feel like as this younger generation you're talking about is coming up and watching films, they're looking less for story and more about like how many explosions can I see from one guy like doing something. But
Yep.
I'm imagining like a teenager watching this and being like, seriously, there's no Ant-Man in this? Like, just like skipping through. He's like, Paul Rudd's not even in this.
Paul Rudd,
Oh,
I'm
man.
surprised that Paul Rudd wasn't in this movie, to be honest.
I know, right? Dude, just like Tara Reid in that. I thought like Tara Reid and I were the same age, but her in that, she was in like her 20s, late 20s, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
And I was only 15. So it's like, like when you see her, it's like, dang, she's older than I was at the time. But it felt like now, I feel like we're the same age. And just seeing everybody in there young, dude. I mean, Jeff Bridges.
That was what I was going to say is like the surprising thing to me is when you talk about age, especially like John Goodman, because I've been quoted to say that John Goodman is my sitcom dad or my TV dad because I grew up like watching like Roseanne, like John Goodman, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so like I grew
I
up
agree.
with it, but it's weird. I was like, oh, so Jeff Bridges is probably like, you know, thinking about when I watch this and remember, I'm like, oh, Jeff Bridges is in his 50s. Like he's 50 probably now. He's 71 years old.
Yep.
And it's just crazy. And John Goodman's right there with him, right behind him, only a couple years. And it was wild to think that.
I think the Coen Brothers are, based on what I've watched, and actually it's between our last record for a Coen Brothers film, which was Raising Arizona, and Big Lebowski. I watched two other Coen Brothers movies that weren't on our list, and I'd seen them before, but I didn't really remember them. I watched Burn After Reading, and I watched Hail Caesar,
I haven't
and
seen
I
El Caesar.
loved Burn After Reading. I think Hail Caesar was okay, maybe not their best, maybe not my favorite, but one thing I think they're really good at is even with an ensemble cast, I feel like I think they're perfect at casting roles, and I think the people they cast in this film are perfect. Um, B, I don't think they ever underutilize someone, and like I came to that realization because Steve Buscemi has like virtually no lines in this film,
That's where I was going.
he is perfect for the role that he is in as this kind of beta, quiet, not
It's
just, he just wants to be around his friends even though they like shout at him all the time. I think he's perfect for the role. I think they do a really good job with that. And
I,
even character actors, I told Lo, my favorite part of this whole movie is Philip Seymour Hoffman
God, the late
when
great.
the late great, and when they approach Bunny and she says like, I'll suck you off for $100. Philip Seymour Hoffman is like, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
we love
Like
her.
he doesn't know how to react. He's so uncomfortable.
Ugh.
It's just so funny. It's so good.
Dude, I love Philip. He was an amazing actor. I mean,
yeah.
and that's another thing I like about movies that like stand the test of time is like you get to see the characters that have passed away in some of their best roles.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got characters in movies that we like they don't make it. They make it 5 years and then they fizzle out. Nobody cares about it, and then the person passed away, and it's like you don't even remember they were in that movie. But then you have like a timeless movie like this, and it's like, oh man, because I think like somewhere in the late 2015, 2000, somewhere around there was a college or a school or something that was actually doing movie nights in their hall or something, and there was posters and stuff, and Big Lebowski was one of the main movies that they watched every single night. So
I think
mean,
it'll stand the test of time. I think that like even 30, 40 years from now, people will be doing podcasts or whatever it is then when you transplant into your mind and watch somebody at their house. I think people will still be doing it. It's stood the test of time for me. It's definitely passed out the test more than Starship Troopers did from last week.
Yeah,
oh
that's
man,
very true.
starships. Whew.
I was gonna say it definitely has and will pass the time because according to Wikipedia, in 2014, the film was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress, being deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So,
Nice.
if we ever get nuked, there's an underground bunker somewhere with a crappy Blu-ray of The Big Lebowski.
Just everybody fighting over to get that DVD of The Big Lebowski instead of like the seats.
I'm trying to think of like the worst movie they could like Crash, like the Oscar movie. Everybody's like, we watched Crash last week. It's our turn to watch Big Lebowski. I don't know what else is culturally significant. Um, the Philip Seymour Hoffman thing, just to touch on that too, real quick. It's funny. I completely agree with you, and I love him as an actor. And it's so funny to think that like I think the first movie I saw him in was Mission Impossible 3. He plays a villain in that.
Oh,
And
I
I was like, oh, like
forgot.
Yep.
I was like, I think I recognize this guy. Kind of, he's a character actor, kind of. And then I get older and I see The Big Lebowski and I see Punch Drunk Love, and he's so good in that
Oh
movie.
yeah.
And I'm watching this with my girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh, isn't that the guy from Hunger Games?" It's like, this guy was a chameleon. He's
Oh
literally
man,
such a good character actor. You could put him in anything, and he filled the role. You know,
dude.
it's great.
But to touch on that a little more, you missed one key role from Philip Seymour Hoffman.
What's that?
Along Came Polly. I
Oh.
sharded.
Oh my
That's where
god!
we got.
Yeah.
I sharded. Let it rain.
Yeah, that's a good one.
God.
Pulled that one out.
Dude,
Yeah.
he could play everything.
Lo, when are we gonna do a Long Came Polly episode?
Hey, whenever we pick that director, whenever we decide,
We're
I
gonna
mean,
do a forgotten romantic comedies thing. I feel like Along Came Polly was probably the guys that did Dumb and Dumber.
I think that
the
season 3 is going to be
Farrelly
different
brothers.
anyways. Season 3 is going to be a little bit different. I know we're picking directors and hopefully we get the fan favorite Fridays we've been talking about going, which we will. We just gotta buckle up and hit the old go live button and set the event, but we'll do it. But I think season 3 might be a little bit different than the last couple seasons, but
I got a couple ideas actually that I want to bounce off
nope,
you.
it's my idea only.
Off pod.
Nope. Oh yeah, can we sidebar off pod, please? This is an off pod talk, please. Sidebar, Aaron. Sidebar. We have a guest. We need a sidebar.
So, oh, go ahead.
Good.
My thing's gonna be totally different. So if you wanna,
Well, I was just gonna touch on some more fun facts on this film, The
Yes.
Big Lebowski. So apparently, somebody counted how many times he said "man" in this film.
Oh, okay.
He said "man" 147 times. Now, mind
Wow.
you, the film is only 117 minutes long.
So you're almost getting you're getting a man
A little over a minute.
a
every
man a minute. A man a minute. Wow.
Oh man. And then speaking on the soundtrack, because you're talking about the music and stuff, apparently the producer of the Rolling Stones, the song that I can't remember the song that they used in there, but they were gonna charge them a fee to use it as normal they do, but they saw Jeff Bridges do the line where he says "F the Eagles" or whatever. Who cares F about the Eagles or whatever? And they waived the fee to the soundtrack or the song for that.
When he's in that taxi cab and he's and the guy and it's like Hotel California's playing,
Yep.
and he's like, can we change it? And the taxi's like, this is my cab, we'll play my music. He's like, I've had a long day, man. Can we change it? And then he's like, I've had a long day and I hate the Eagles.
Amazing.
Thrown right out. With that being said, though, before we go into what Aaron has to say, I wanted to ask everybody what their favorite quote is from this movie. Like, there's plenty of them to pick from, but like, what's your favorite line that you like always remember?
Mine's got to be the whole world of pain.
Whole world of pain.
That scene's so funny.
I know you even said that to me when we were gaming today. You're like, you're gonna be in a whole world of pain, and I was like, wait, what?
I don't know how many times I've used that, and it's like growing up, it's like, where did you get that from? Where'd you get that from? And then then you watch that, and it's like, oh, that was it, yeah.
Nice.
John Goodman saying "whole world of pain." You're gonna be in a whole world of pain if you don't mark it a 0.
I love
How
that.
about you, Lo?
My favorite, and I cracked up, and I didn't realize that was not my favorite until it happened. But when Walter turns to Donnie, he's like, "You're out of your element, Donnie. You're out of your element." That is by far my favorite line. And anytime I hear it or even hear anybody say it, just dude, it cracks me up, man. It cracks me up. Just hear, "You're out of your element, Donnie. You're out of your element."
I don't think I think I have to stick by my favorite moment, which is not a classic line, but it's Philip Seymour Hoffman's uncomfortable reaction to Tara Reid's sexual proposition. It makes me laugh so hard every time. It just kills me, and I love those moments. Like you said, this is a very oft quoted movie for good reason. But it is those moments that you forget about, and then you watch it, and it catches you off guard that really kill you. You know.
Nice.
I just wanted to we as our first guest, I wanted to talk to you a little bit just about movies in general, and so what is, what made you want to get into film? What are some of your favorite movies, and some of the ones that have had like the most impact on you as somebody who works in filmmaking?
Well, first I started off in acting. Acting has been my passion since I was a kid. I mean, I think I was in third grade and I played Aladdin in our school play.
Nice.
And from there, I did school plays, I've done short films and all that. Um, I remember I remember growing up, we had the old RCA VHS camcorder, and it was our family camcorder. And I used to take that and shoot movies. And I found out that if you turn it sideways and you crawl across the floor, and then you put the tape in and you play it, you're crawling up. So I always did that, and I was like, I'm Spider Man. So I mean, I've always I we used to always pretend like something kids don't even do anymore, but like we used to always pretend that we're doing something. We always had imagination, and then getting into filmmaking. So acting's my number one. That's my big passion. That's what I've always wanted to do. But getting into filmmaking, it's because I moved down to an area where it's not very big. It's like everybody's a flake. It's like, come on, you want to do this, you want to do that. So there's no opportunities. So I started Filmcore Digital to go and shoot my own. So I write all my own stuff. I act in my own stuff. I'm just to get my acting out there. And then I taught myself everything about film, and it's like, oh man, I love this side of the film too. So I just started like learning everything about the camera angles and this and that. Um, so that's what got me into filmmaking. Is pretty much because there was no opportunities for me to act in them. So I had to
Right.
teach myself to shoot my own stuff, to do that, and I've grown to love that.
That's awesome, man.
It's so hard though, because I don't have a favorite movie. There's just so many movies. I don't even have a favorite actor. Well, Adam Sandler, hands down, is my favorite overall, like comedian. Like he's amazing. Like if I could be in a movie with him, that's my life. But I mean, I've had such respect for so many actors, and there's so many, like Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise as an actor. As an actor, I like Tom Cruise. As a human
Right.
being, eh. Uh, so I mean, it's just like I will sit, and my wife hates this. My wife hates that because I will sit and I will analyze the movie while I'm watching the movie. So like my brother and I, we talk about movies all the time, and he's like, "How do you sit there and still see the movie but know what's going on in the movie and still know what's going on with the filming and all that? Because when I watch a movie, I got to pay attention. I need to know what's going on." I'm like, I don't know. I sit and watch, and I analyze everything. I am huge on continuity errors. I like, my wife hates it when I call them out. I'm like, did you see that? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, hold on. We're rewinding. We're rewinding. Let me put this back. Watch. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, watch this.
Look at the clock.
So
Look at the clock.
so
We need
getting
you. We're gonna need you on our set this summer, because I that's the thing, is like we're trying to do our first serious thing, and we could definitely use someone like you to
Well,
keep an
I
eye
was
out
telling
for
Jimmy
us.
that too. I mean, if you guys ever need any help with anything, I can look over stuff. If you guys decide to do because I'm getting into VFX now, because I love
Yeah.
that side now too. I love the VFX. Like, I'm really loving the VFX side. So if you guys need help with that, if you guys want to shoot something that gives me practice, but I mean, I will definitely take a look at your guys' videos, because I I'm huge on continuity error. I am huge on like the details. And like people say, it's not that big a deal. Let it slide. It's like, no, you gotta, because like I will sit there and I will shoot a whole scene, perfect, beautiful, and then I'll go back and play it. I'm like, my left hand was up, but then my right hand was up. We're shooting the
Yeah.
whole thing over.
Yeah.
So
That's good though, man,
yeah,
because that makes you
That's
actually like
amazing.
appreciate your craft and knows that like you don't let like little things slide like that. That's good, man. That's
yeah.
awesome. Awesome.
So
Takes a village. I feel like there's people that are good with the way back here stuff, which is what I feel like I am good with, and then there's people that are good with the details, and I feel like I would be missing them left and right. So very
see, I'm
impressive.
I'm
And I want
all
to
the
say
way
you
in.
Your visual effects channel is awesome.
Oh, I
The
appreciate that,
stuff that
man.
you put up is so cool. People definitely need to check it out, and we'll do plugs at the end of the episode for sure.
I'm definitely trying to dive deeper into that because, like I said, I got into the acting. That's not my number one passion. And then it took me to filmmaking, and I love the filmmaking. But then the filmmaking took me to the VFX, and I'm so much into the VFX right now. I
Yeah.
love it.
Gonna be a nice
Awesome.
little Alomo Media Filmcore Digital sketch collab here coming out hopefully soon once we get it filmed here.
I'm down. Let's do it.
I think we might film it this weekend. I might talk to you tomorrow when we're gaming and might get it filmed when I'm up visiting old Aaron here to get our last couple episodes of the Lomo show done. So probably get
See,
it
that's
done.
awesome that you guys are so close to each other that you guys can collab like that.
Yeah, it's been a journey. And I appreciate you watching everything. I feel confident and excited about the stuff we put out so far, and the whole time I'm keeping in mind that this is the first stuff that we're doing, and we're kind of doing it to prove to ourselves that we can do it. And the goal is always to get better, and so I'm excited to see what it turns into. Um, you know, but so
Yeah, you guys are doing
everybody,
great.
thank you so much.
Thank
Where
you.
would you guys, in your personal, along with the Coen Brothers? So Jimmy and I always rank kind of the movies that we've watched so far, or at least within the directors' filmographies. And so in terms of Coen Brothers films you've seen, do you think this is your favorite? Is there other notables that you would maybe put ahead of it or around it? What do you think?
You oh man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean,
There's
I
there's ones that we didn't even do this season too. Like we picked 5, but like a big notable one that we skipped was Fargo. You know, that was the one right before this, and you can you could feel them getting into a pattern and a rhythm. It probably would have been good to watch
yeah.
it, but there was a few other ones that I wanted to do. So
Yeah, we should have just skipped Paul Verhoeven and just did a whole season on the Coen Brothers.
wait, Jimmy, remind me what movies next? What Paul Verhoeven movies next?
Stop.
No, I really don't know.
I don't either.
I
We're
mean,
watching Showgirls.
No, it's Hollow Man. That's the next one.
Okay, all right.
so
Yay.
with the Coen Brothers films, I love what is it? Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's what
That
we're watching next. I've
that
never seen it.
it's hilarious. I love them. You were talking about Burn Notice. It was all right. I didn't really like Brad Pitt's character. I'd never seen Hail Caesar. That did not appeal to me at all. But I think my favorite. I think I'm gonna have to say Brother. I don't know because Raising Arizona is really good.
It's
That is
hard.
like a classic. It's so
hard.
funny. That's like one of
Yeah.
their first ones, isn't it?
It's their second movie, and we
Second-
watched. That was
yeah.
the one we watched before this, and I gotta say personally, this doesn't top Raising Arizona for me, but I think that this is probably in second for me for now. But keep in mind, I haven't seen Oh Brother yet, so that could definitely change. I love Raising Arizona. I think it's like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and then this movie I just think holds up astoundingly well. And so it's right up there for me.
Yeah.
I think as far as my ranking so far in season 2, I mean, we talked about Raising Arizona a lot, and it's going to be hard to take them off the throne. And then maybe we still have a couple more. You know, maybe Hollow Man will really pull it through here.
That's what I was gonna say. What do you think? What do you think the chances are that Hollow Man is better than any of the Coen Brothers movies we've seen so far?
It can't be. But no. As far as my rankings for season 2, it's going to be Raising Arizona still in first, and then the Big Lebowski coming in a very tight second.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, too.
What's the other one? True Grit. That
True
was good.
Grit.
My parents
That was good.
love True Grit, and that's another one that I haven't seen. Is Jeff Bridges in that as well?
Yes, he
Okay.
is John
gotta
Wayne's
see that.
character.
I gotta see that.
Yeah. Yep. That was a really good remake. See, I love remakes as long as they're done well.
Yeah.
Because there's such a big difference in time periods that it's like it's good to see. Like I was just talking to my wife the other day. It's like we have not had a really good like mob movie like Godfather and stuff. We have not
Don't
had one
worry,
in a
it'll
long
come.
time.
We'll get it there. We'll get a nice one coming down probably in about 6 years. some nice Italian guy that owns his own media company. We'll get one out here. We'll see. You know, maybe. I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
Maybe.
There we go, man.
Maybe.
Put Scarface in the back burner. Nobody will even know what that is after that movie.
Nope. All right. Well, this has been At the Movies. We doing good on time? Hello?
Yeah, we're doing good. We can.
good?
I wanted to definitely you touch on it earlier, but James, where can they find you, man? What do you want to plug? Plug away, my friend. Socials, wherever.
Yes.
Tell our listeners what you have going on, my friend.
Filmcore Digital. That's Filmcore Digital on YouTube. Now on YouTube, make sure you put the digital part, because if you just put Filmcore, you get some random person that does Godzilla and King Kong animation videos, which awesome. He's got a lot of followers. People love that stuff.
But it's not me.
But it's not me. Like I was watching somebody on a stream the other day. They're like, "Hey man, I went to your channel and dude, I really love the stuff that you do about King Kong and Godzilla because I grew up on that." I'm like, "Dude, that's not me. I do VFX videos. I
You're
mean,
like,
I
oh
would love to
shucks,
do
thanks.
King Kong." Yeah.
Thank you. It was easy.
But I mean, it's Filmcore Digital on everything. Instagram, Facebook. I think I have a Twitter, but I think I only have like 4 people on there because I don't ever plug Twitter, because who uses Twitter anymore? I just started a TikTok.
Nice.
I just got the I don't know if you guys have your YouTube on mobile, but I just got the
The shorts.
the button for shorts. So I'm gonna start doing that. What else am I on? Filmcoredigital.com. It's where you can go get all the merch and stuff like that. Check and see what's out.
Nice.
Like this is one of the shirts. I'll plug it right here. This is our drip shirt.
Like
FD
that.
right there.
Like that.
Great merch.
So I mean, we're everywhere. You can follow me on Instagram, actor JPS. You can go to IMDb, where you find all these great movies. You can search James Paul Shepard. I'm on there as well. So yeah, that's the dream. Like I said, acting is the number one.
You got a nice little podcast too, where you talk about films, right?
Oh yeah. We it's on a hiatus right now, but it's What the Filmcore. We're WTF. We talk about films, and we have a Patreon as well. I don't know if we can plug the Patreon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Check us out. We have 3 tiers to choose from. You get a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff, and then you get to be on the podcast too on
Nice.
one of the tiers. So yeah, that's Filmcore Digital in a nutshell.
Well, man, thank you so much for being on. I know that, yeah, this was huge, man. We're definitely going to have you on. I know Aaron and I have talked about it a lot. We're going to have you on a lot more. This was great. I hope that you enjoyed talking with us.
Oh, dude, I loved it. I mean, like I said, I love what you guys are doing, and just being a part of it, even if I'm just sitting here nodding my head up and down while you guys are talking, or I'm chiming in. I'm definitely loving this.
Appreciate it, man.
We loved having you. Thank you for being here so much. If you guys want to, so did we use the overlay on this?
Well, I put it in
Jimmy?
after. We'll figure it out.
So somewhere around here, most likely down here, you're going to see a list of social accounts that you can follow us on if you'd like to. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We just started a new social calendar, so I think that we are going to have some really good content coming up for you guys soon. We're in the middle of Lummo Show season 2, and we are filming a short film this summer, and got some ideas for the next season about the movies already. Next season Lummo Show, so definitely give us a follow, and if you can afford 2 Patreons, go subscribe to James's first, and then go subscribe to ours. And for $3 a month, you can watch the movies along with us in real time, and lots of other cool stuff there too.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
thank you so much, guys, for watching. And a share is free, and it helps us out a bunch. So if you could do that, that'd be amazing. And thank you so much, James, for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's At the Movies. That's a wrap.